Hi, my name is John Hendricks. I am a racer and co-owner of Hendricks Racing. I'm sure, as you've seen, I've been posting a lot of shorts regarding my fitness journey and everything I've been doing in order to lose a bunch of weight. I'm proud to say that I'm now underneath 300 pounds, and I wanted to share my journey and all of the ups and downs that I've been dealing with being 400 pounds. I was at 406 pounds was my heaviest, and I'm now at 297. Um, a lot of the a lot of the difficulties that I would deal with would be an unhealthy relationship with food. I didn't want to go a whole lot of places because I always felt like I was the air quotes center of attention. You couldn't really hide from anybody because you're so big, and I also hated having my photos taken. Growing up, I was born in 1986. I'm 38 years old, and I was always sort of told to be careful because I was always bigger than the other kids whenever we would go play and stuff like that. Um, Lived a good life. Everyone was happy and healthy, and I was just overweight. I've always been overweight. I think it had a lot to do with at that point in time, like the standard American diet, which was carb heavy. Through the years growing up, I developed an unhealthy relationship with food. I use food to cope. I use food to heal. I use food for fun. I use food when I was sad. I relied on food a lot, and I think that was a huge detriment to myself and the health and wellness of me. Going into high school and even during high school and out of high school, I have tried a numerous amounts of diets. I've done the shakes, I've done the supplements, I've done the all the sort of fatty things that you could do that was classified as a diet. I've done the go to a nutritionist, go to a dietitian thing, and they would put me on shakes and protein bars and all of that stuff. And I'm not 100% sure that was the best way to go about it. The reason I think that way, and mind you, all of this is just my opinion, it's all, everything that sort of worked for me. My opinion, the reason that it didn't work is because all they're doing is telling you to drink this shake or eat this protein bar if you're hungry. They're not telling you how to eat properly. It's just putting band-aids on everything. And again, my opinion is that's sort of what Ozempic and all of those other ones are doing. They're just band-aids because whenever you come off of taking that medication, because I haven't taken any medication, I'm not taking Ozempic, I'm not taking any of that stuff. But whenever you come off of taking those medications, you haven't learned how to eat properly. You just haven't eaten as much because you haven't been hungry. But if you're still eating junk, then you haven't learned anything. That's one of my opinions as to why it didn't work, why those protein shakes and the protein bars and all that stuff didn't work, is because I wasn't learning how to eat properly. I was just putting band-aids on everything. Through the years, I I started getting into motorcycles and I started doing track days and things like that. And I eventually just got tired of being heavy. I got tired of being, the fat guy, so to speak. I mean, I'm still a heavy set dude, but just got tired of just being unhealthy, I guess. And I met a guy named Jamie Starachi, and he introduced me to keto at a track, at a racetrack. We were doing a track day together, and he introduced me to this thing called keto. And so I started doing keto, and I was probably close to about 400 pounds. And I I thought I had finally found something that worked. It was changing my mindset, and it changed in me how I viewed food. I wasn't viewing food as a band-aid. I wasn't viewing food as a crutch. I wasn't viewing food as a source of comfort. I started viewing food as exactly what it should be, which is a source of nutrition. And I started cutting carbohydrates and sugars out of my diet altogether. If you're anything like me, whenever I have a little bit of sugar, I get shark eyes and my lizard brain kicks in, and it's all I can think about. So it's like a drug, more or less. But that's probably one of the biggest changes is I actually got tired of being overweight. I've heard a lot of people say that they're just tired of it. It's like, yeah, but you're not tired enough. They don't want to be overweight, but they don't want it bad enough yet. I do think we can all get there, but yet. So I started doing track days, like I said, and met Jamie. And then I got tired of going so slow. And I know a lot of it has to do with seat time and everything, but it also has a lot to do with weight, power to weight. And that made me want to start getting healthier as well. And so through the years, I started doing keto, and I had dropped 80 pounds or so. And then I fell off the wagon, and I gained the majority of it back, if not all of it back, plus some. So then I was listening to some podcasts, and I found carnivore. I have been doing carnivore for probably a year and a half to 2 years. And going carnivore has drastically changed my life. I truly believe. I'm not taking supplements. I'm not taking anything from a supplement company. I started recently, probably 4 or 5 days ago, started taking L-lysine and ginger root. And then I take fish oil. But I'm not taking protein shakes. I'm not taking any sort of fat burner, none of that stuff. But what changed was my diet. I learned that you cannot outwork a bad diet, and abs are made in the kitchen. So it's more about what you eat. And then what you eat can also control how much you eat. So the biggest change was what I was putting into my body drastically changed everything else that I'm about to mention. So now fast forward to today. So 2 years ago, I was 406 pounds. And this morning I weighed in this morning at 298.7. I have lost 108-ish pounds by drastically changing my diet. And I also incorporated, I bought a stationary bicycle with like a TV on it, sort of like a Peloton. And I watch movies and I cycle anywhere from 13 to 17 miles a day religiously. I also got a puppy. So I'm taking her for 5-6 walks a day, which helps get me moving, helps burn calories, helps just overall getting sun, which is super important. And then I also bought a cold plunge that I got from a guy in Orlando, Florida. His name's Ben. Shout out, Ben. But yeah, I bought this cold plunge. He delivered it. He went over everything with me, and I use that religiously. And I think that has drastically helped also. Yeah, mainly just changing how I eat, what I eat, not necessarily even when I eat, but just what I eat, how I eat. I've also incorporated some intermittent fasting in there, and cycling. And when I cycle, I try and burn anywhere from 500 to 700 calories a session. So it's not just going for a gentle ride. I'm using cycling as a rigorous form of exercise. I think that's a combination of all of those. I can't necessarily point to one specific thing, but a combination of all of those is what I truly believe has helped me drastically lose a substantial amount of weight, and what's going to help me lose even more. I keep posting that hashtag road to 275. So one of my first goals is to get to 275, see how I feel. And then if I want to get down to 250, 225, whatever it may be, again, see how I feel. Then, I'll reevaluate and continue this journey. But my real goal is to get to 275, see how I feel. I got to buy new clothes. I've never had to buy new clothes because my clothes are too big. I've always had to buy clothes because I outgrew my clothes. I also have a race suit that I have to go buy a new racing suit, which, is a problem, but it's a good problem to have because the one I have is too big. I hopped on the race bike a couple days ago, sitting in the garage, and was just kind of moving around on it. I feel amazing. I can touch my chin on the airbox, which is wild. I've never been able to do that. I feel good, but again, I kind of give it up all to Jamie for at least introducing me to keto, switching to carnivore, cycling, going for multiple walks. Any chance I get, I'll walk somewhere rather than drive somewhere if I can. I work for what I do for a living, and where I have to go regularly is like a quarter mile, so I'll just walk over there instead of drive. I started back on these challenges called the Conqueror Challenge, which I absolutely love. I've got a bunch of their medals. It's a really good company. I'm not sponsored by any of these companies. I just think they're great, and if you're reward driven, these are a great thing to have. This is the last one I got. They're medals, like solid medals, and you pay, I think it's $36 or so, and you set up your mileage, how many miles that each one is worth, and you can cycle. You can cycle, run, I think swim, but you do all of this for those miles, and then at the end they mail you one of those medals. I have a bunch of them. So the Conquer Challenge, if you're reward driven, I highly suggest you go check them out. Go check out Ben's cold plunges for cold plunges. He's on Instagram. I really made this video just for anybody who is struggling to try and figure out a way to lose weight when nothing else has worked. All of this information is free. There's no paywall. I'm just trying to tell you what has worked for me. Eating carnivore, which is just meat, very few fruits, very few veggies, nothing battered and fried, so no carbohydrates, and cycling. I mean, it's simple on paper, but it's very difficult to do. I just had breakfast this morning, and here in a little bit, it's 11:30. I have to go for a 17 to 20 mile bike ride just because it's what I do now. So I just really hope that this video reaches somebody who was in the same boat that I am, or who is in the same boat that I was in. I know that there's millions of people in the United States, probably more than that all over the world, who just need some sort of guidance that does that, and from somebody who's not going to try and rip them off. And I'm just trying to share what worked for me. I'm not trying to sell you something. Don't ask me for a workout plan because I don't have one. I'm not affiliated with anybody who does workout plans. I'm just trying to help somebody get healthier who's struggled just like I have. So I do hope this helps. There will be more racing content coming up. Lots more track days, the traveling side of it, all of it. It's coming. Once I get a new suit, Joe, my teammate, and I, we will be back on the track. He's actually at Barber right now, but yeah, I just have been really wanting to make this to just try and help somebody. So if you know anybody who needs motivation or guidance or something, or an idea as to where to start, please share this with them. Hopefully it can help them get healthier. And yeah, so if you guys would, like I said, just share this video to anybody and everybody, and we will be back with more racing content. Bye.